What's up? What's going on? So, if you've clicked on this video, you know what this is about. The short film, Who Is It? Right? But the reason that this is a video that I'm making in the first place is because I want to talk about something that I don't think gets a lot of focus when it comes to Michael Jackson. We've talked about his personal life, talk about his abilities as a songwriter and a musician, a dancer, and just a, consummate performer, his history and all of that. What I don't think gets discussed enough, and what I don't think he gets enough credit for, is filmmaking. Now, granted, he is not credited as the director of any of the short films that he's doing or that he's done, or writer or whatever it is. But you could make a case, I think. You can make a strong argument for him essentially being, the producer, having already created the music for these things. And you could give him a writing credit because a lot of the short films are informed by the music, is what we're getting at. So, and I think more so than any other short film in his body of work is, I think, Who Is It? Is one of those projects that encapsulates the ethos of the short film as Michael saw it. Let's talk about it. So, if you know anything about Michael Jackson, you know that he did not like the term music video, and particularly as it pertained to what he did. He didn't see what he did as a music video. He had a higher idea of what it is he was creating, and so he called them short films. And I think Who Is It? You can make a case for Stranger in Moscow, Childhood, maybe Earth Song. There are a handful of other projects that fit the bill more closely to what he saw as a short film, with his music at the forefront. But Who Is It is a very particular project. It's a unique project, if for no other reason than, so one of the reasons it stands out to me is because it's one that doesn't have any dancing. Michael Jackson is known for one of the things he's known for, synchronized dance sequences in his exorbitantly expensive music videos. But Who Is It has none of that. It's actually a quite pared down affair. It feels like a short film, a proper short film, just with music set over it. And in a way, you could look at it like a silent film, really. It actually harkens back to silent film days, where you just had a whole bunch of images telling the story, some guys playing music on the side somewhere that, sort of enhances the experience. And in a way, it's a lot like that. And I think for that reason, it's probably it's one of the more filmic projects that Michael Jackson's been a part of, outside of stuff like, Smooth Criminal, Captain EO, Thriller, and all those ones that actually have film sequences and junk. Like, this is more straight up narrative, no dialogue. You watch it, you feel it, you piece together what's happening, and then that's what you're left with. This short film was directed by David Fincher, which is important to note, because the more you think about it, if you know his body of work, he's directed things like Seven. He's directed stuff, A Gone Girl. There's a darkness and mystery to those projects. There is a haunting quality to those things too. And I think this was back when Fincher was directing a lot of music videos. And the more I think about it, Who Is It? It's the perfect thing for him to have directed. It's a Fincher. It feels like a Fincher project. You could argue, you can make the case that Michael Jackson was a co-director of this situation, because this is one of those cases where the what's on screen and the music you hear is a perfect marriage. The images underscore what the song is, what the song feels like. Yeah, it's a jam. You can like dance to it and you can get down with it, but there's a subtext to it too that's also very emotional, and you feel that stuff, and that is deepened by what you see on screen. So if you haven't seen the short film, what you have is you have Michael. He's in distress. He's sad because his girl left him. She's stepping out on him. He finds a card, like a business card with a single name on it, and he is, he wants to know what's going on. Where's his girl, first of all? Who's she stepping out on him with? In the same sequence, you have the first sort of third of the film. Same sequence, he has an assistant person, his confidant person, who I feel like that's his confidant. You don't know directly the relationship, but it's inferred pretty strongly. This guy's been around him for some time, and I see him. He's like the Samwise Gamgee of this film. And I wish I could find the guy's name. If you do any research on it, if you let me know if you find it, because you can't really, if you've done any research on it, there's not a ton of information you find in this video outside of a synopsis and who some of the cast members are. But that's what you got going in. Mike is hurt. He finds a business card. You got to see what's going on. We got to figure out what the story is. Next to that, you have his girl, who is apparently like she works for some people, where her job is to go and sleep around with different people and get paid massive amounts of money. So that's what she does. But it's overseen by, she's not like a regular, like, oh, she just goes out in the street and sleeps with people. No, there's some refinement to what she's doing. There is a group that is responsible for every look she has. She has these different identities and a business card that corresponds to each of those identities. And you can tell, you get the sense that there's an organization or whatever that oversees what's going on. And that it's high end. They get paid a lot of money, and as such, they have an operation that is high end as well. That they have a team, a traveling team, in the back of a truck, or a sort of, it's like a mini. It's a portable makeup studio where she goes and does a job. She comes back. There's a team of people ready to do her hair, makeup, blah, blah, blah. They get her ready. Boom. She goes out to the next job. She did boom. Next. And you have, on top of that, you have an older woman who is like the mother hen person, and you have an older man who is probably her boss. And you're not sure about directly what their relationship is, but they work together. There's some tension between them, and perhaps he's like the boss of that situation. I should break down while we're there who these people are, who the actors are. So if you don't know, Will Patton is a character actor who's been in a lot of things. He's been in TV 24, television show 24. He's been in Armageddon. He's been around the block. He was just in the recent Halloween movies, the newer ones from from 2018-ish on. And so you know what time it is. Will Patton has been around the block. What the heck is he doing in this short film? What the heck? That's my, like, what, when you think about it, like, man, what the heck? You have Lois Childs, who is, if you don't know who she is, she's the Bond girl from the 1979 film Moonraker. She's the main Bond girl, and she's like the mother hen person in this movie. The model, the woman who plays Michael's girlfriend, she was a model. I think this was her first film project. Yasmin Laban, I think is her name. Yasmin Laban. So those are the players we got. Those are the players, and then Michael, who's like the dude, and then Michael. So that's what we got going on. A whole bunch of stuff is jumping off. So why is this video cool? I should say right now that this is which you probably guessed this. This is less a review and more I'm just gushing about this thing that I love. I've been wanting to talk about not just this video, but Michael Jackson as from a filmmaking perspective for some time, and I think this project is a good way into that. But yes, that's what that's what we're doing. That's one reason why it's cool, because it feels most like a film. It's a feature-length situation condensed in under 7 minutes, and it's amazing. I have to feel like I feel like he had some say in how it went, even though Fincher directed it or whatever it is. I feel like Michael could have been co-director. He co-directed this project, because it feels like a pure marriage of director and star, if you will, in this sense. It's no secret that Michael had aspirations to be doing more film, and because obviously he was so big, you couldn't make a movie at Warner Brothers or Paramount or whatever it is. You had to make your own movies, and so this kind of stuff is what we're seeing. Stuff like this. Who is it? Is Michael making movies, but as Michael Jackson? That's just that's the only way he can do it. Like and I don't know. There's something cool about that. But why is this project cool? What are some things that's cool? Now, I've seen this thing. I don't know how many times I've seen this video. It's probably my favorite Michael Jackson short film. And over the years, I've watched it over and over. I've watched it many times. Probably I've watched it more than any other Michael Jackson project. And every so often I'll catch something new about it that I didn't see before, and new layers are being uncovered and being opened to me that make me love it more. I didn't think it was possible for me to love it anymore, but doggone it, I love it more. So including, I just watched it again. I watched them yesterday. I watched it several times yesterday, and again, more things came to me. So we're gonna unpack this. Here's what's going on. So why is this thing cool? Why is this cool? It's cool because it feels the most, again, like director and star, the marriage is perfect. What you see on screen and the music is perfect. They both have this darkness to it, this haunting quality, this mystery to it, and it is an emotional, deeply emotional, core to it that really is compelling. I love that about it. I love that there's a legit story being told without having it being spoon-fed to you. There's no dialogue. You got to piece it together based on what you see on screen and what you know and what you can infer from the song lyrics that don't necessarily directly tie into what you see on screen, but they help enhance what's going on. That both of them work in tandem to enhance each other. And that's what's cool about it too. That's a cool thing. The cinematography is fantastic. The camera moves are great. It feels it's noirish almost. It has like a film noir quality to it. That's cool. Again, very much like a Fincher situation. This feels like it's like a 1940s, crime thriller situation. At the heart of it, the main character, Michael, is, trying to figure out what's going on with this girl. That's something cool about that. So there's a ton of things to unpack. One of the things is there are faces that appear a few times in this movie that are not clear. You don't know who the faces are. They pop up maybe on a desk, or you see them popping up in a wall or in a lamp, and it almost feels like this thematic representation of what the song is, which is, the song is called "Who Is It?" The project is called "Who Is It?" The faces represent this mystery that you don't know who the faces are. You don't know who Michael Jackson's girl is stepping out on him with. He doesn't know that. You don't know the specifics of, there's a lot of, you don't know. You don't know the specifics of what she's doing. You can infer based on what you see. You don't know the people she's working with. And the faces seem to represent all of that. The overall mystery of the narrative. And that's cool. They pop up only when Michael is in different stages. Only when Michael's around, you see the faces. So that says something. I'm not quite sure fully what that is. It's almost like they almost feel like they're taunting him, though. Almost like, when you go through a breakup, or you lose someone to death or whatever it is, some major change happens. Memories that pop up, the faces are like memories almost. They can be painful when you're in your grief. You don't really want to, your mind naturally goes to those places, but you don't want to think about that type of stuff because you're grieving this major loss. And the faces seem to represent a whole bunch of different things, including that. At least to me, this is, you tell me what you think. If you see it, you tell me what you think. So there's the faces. That's something I think it's a cool sort of metaphor that's used sparingly throughout the project. Oh, okay. So, haha. So this is the other thing that's cool. So you think about iconography and what that is in film terms. For instance, you look at the ruby slippers in The Wizard of Oz, right? Iconic image, iconic prop, whatever you want to call it. You don't have to even know anything else about The Wizard of Oz. You see those slippers, you know what time it is. You look at something like the lightsaber from Star Wars. Anakin's lightsaber, immediately what that goes to, your mind takes you to where you need to go. The totem from Inception, the top. These things do so much work, I think, because they're so ingrained into your consciousness of stuff. They've been around a lot. Like that's the cool thing about some certain films. Certain things become this instantly iconic situation where they burn themselves into your memory to where you don't even have to see or know anything else about the movie. You see the image, you know exactly what that is. So what is that? What's going on for this particular film? There are business cards. Now, you could argue that the faces are the iconic whatever it is that I just mentioned, but I think it's the business cards for this one. The business cards are not regular business cards. If you've seen the short film, you know what I'm talking about. They're silver, like metal business cards. They're reflective, and they have a single name on it. You flip it, you got Alex, Diana, whatever the name is. And they stand out. Like, there's like a... Oh, just right now, this came in right. This just hit me right now. So, so the business cards are different names, right? That correspond to the different identities that Michael Jackson's girl is assuming when she goes on these different jobs to sleep with people, right? The fact that the cards are reflective, almost feel like if you are receiving her services and she shows you the card, you look at the card. The reflection really, it's almost like a mirror type of thing. You see your reflection in the card. You don't see her. There's a mystery of there that's like, if you're looking at her, you're not really seeing her. You don't know who she is. We don't even know her real name, right? We don't know who she is. So you're looking at this mirror that is like, you're just using, you're using her. You're using her for pleasure, for whatever it is, and you pay her and she goes on her way. You don't care about who this woman is. You're paying her for a service, and she's... So you don't see her. You see you. You're just using her for your pleasure. That blew my mind right now. The business cards, the reflective business cards are like these little mirrors that keep you from actually seeing who this woman is that's being used on these different jobs, right? So again, I don't know this to be true. This is my feeling based on what I'm thinking about, what I've been thinking about for this short film. Oh man, that's wild. That just this moment, bam. So anyway, the business cards are iconic imagery. They feel that they define this short film in a way that it's at the heart of the short film, like the question of who is it defines the film. So the two things work together. Who is it that she's sleeping with? Who is she? We don't know who. This is massive mystery being displayed to us, and we never really know the answer. We never really get the answer to who she is. You get a glimpse of it at the end, where she goes back to Michael's house. He's leaving, and his confidant is there to greet her. She wants to see him, and he's like, "Yo, he's gone. I can't, She's like, "No, please, can I see him?" He's like, and he just gives her all the cards, all the identities that she's assumed that they found at her place when they went to go figure out what was going on with her. that's what she gets back. You get a sense that this time I watched it recently, I never got the sense that she cared about him before. But this time I watched it and I felt, oh shoot, she actually did love him. She was trying to leave probably the group she worked for. She was done sleeping around. She didn't want to do it anymore. She wanted to go back and settle down with him. But it was too late because he's gone. And what she gets back are all the business cards that she had been using for all the different jobs she was doing. Which is incredibly painful. It's sad to see it. You know, that's the only time you get the sense of really who she is. You see her without makeup. Her hair, everything's disheveled. You know, she's just vulnerable, right? It's the first time in the whole project you see her that way. Throughout, there's a team traveling to every job with her. There's like a team of makeup artists, people making sure she's right, her hair is right, whatever wig she's wearing. You know, that moment at the end is the first time you get to see a glimpse of who she is, the real person behind all the different identities. And so that's really cool. That's awesome to me. Like, and it's painful, like to feel that. God, oh my gosh. I want to talk about Lois Child's character for a second. She's like the mother hen person. And this is a new thing that hit me when I watched it yesterday too, that I'd never thought about before. There's a sequence in the project where she is in the mirror, looking at herself in the mirror, and she's looking tired. Will Patton is leaving the room, and he stops to look at her, and then she looks back at him, and he leaves, and then she looks down, and she's exhausted or whatever it is. What that said to me was like, oh shoot, so she's like the mother hen person overseeing the mysterious, call girl person. Why does she look so sad? Why does she look tired? Oh, she was probably at one point a call girl who rose through the ranks and became the mother hen person who oversees that particular person. Maybe she doesn't like where her life has led her. She doesn't like that she doesn't like her history. She sees probably a little bit of herself in the call girl person. She doesn't like that. Maybe there's some guilt too, that she can't really protect the junior, call girl person. And maybe there's some little bit of regret and anger that she's in that position. Maybe she doesn't want that position. So that was just something a little bit. There's a moment of of vulnerability in that sequence where she's looking in the mirror at herself. She's looking at her reflection, and she doesn't like what she sees. That's what you get. The feeling you get is she doesn't like that. What's looking back at her. She doesn't like who she's become. Outside of that, she's stern. She's making sure everything is cool. She's looking at the girl's hair, making sure her hair is right, whatever it is, as she goes on these different jobs. And there's a moment of humanity there, which, I never caught it before, never realized it, and it hit me. And that deepens you. I get a fuller sense of who that character is now. Will Patton's character, he's still sort of mysterious. All you get really is that he's the guy, he's counting all the money. He's probably the big boss, maybe. Or maybe he's equal to the mother hen person, Lois Child's character. And maybe they both work for someone else. There's a bigger person in the company. I don't know, but he's still sort of like you don't really get a sense of who he is beyond the sort of one note, like, she needs to do what she's supposed to do. Maybe he's like the father hen person. I don't know. You don't get that, but his presence definitely adds to the proceedings, and you need that. He's that bit of conflict between the mother hen and the young girl who's actually going out doing all the jobs, because you get the sense that she's a big money maker, and Will Patton's character is like concerned with the money, and Lois Child's character is concerned with the girl, but also like making sure she's cool. But maybe she didn't do that enough, which is why the moment in the mirror, when she's looking in the mirror, she feels some things that come up.Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. Something else is interesting too. There's his crew. I wonder what the crew is about. Like there's a crew that travels in a moving studio. It's like a moving makeup studio that they in the back of this sort of 18-wheeler type of truck situation. And after every job, they bring Michael's girl into the place, and she gets her uniforms, her makeup shifted. She becomes this new character. She goes out on the next job. And again, you don't think about them because they're just there doing what. But I'm thinking about it. This time. I was like, oh, I wonder what's up with the crew. I wonder what they think about what's happening. Are they just like foot soldiers? Yo, you come in, do the makeup. You don't have anything to say. Don't say anything. Don't think anything. Just do your job, and that's it. I don't know. Something to think about. This is something that I think about, and I will continue to think about more since my recent. And I may watch after this video, watch it again just to see what else comes up for me. What I love about this too, I think, is the sense of continuity that's established within the world of the dangerous short films. So this project there's a sequence in the middle of the film where Michael and his confidant go to the girlfriend's house or apartment or wherever she's living at. Place is in shambles. You find everything everywhere all at once. No. But there's a broken picture of Michael smiling. It's actually an image from the short film In the Closet. But you get the sense that, oh, this was a picture that she had in her home, the girlfriend had in her home, of Michael happy. You know, maybe they were together. And you don't know if she's in it because it's all shattered. You just see a picture of Michael's face all jacked up. And I appreciated that bit of continuity. Like, oh, shoot, it's, like spiritually, Michael's doing on these different adventures or whatever it is. And maybe a version of this girl was with him in the In the Closet film. That's the sort of... Anyway, that was kind of cool. The other thing is that's where they find all the business cards that she had. Either they stashed them there or the company she works for put them there for him to find. It raises all these questions because you don't know why is her place a mess? First of all, did she do it? No, she probably didn't mess up her own place. So maybe she was trying to get out of the job. She's trying to get out of that game of being a call girl or whatever it is. And maybe the company got wind of this. She was trying to fight them. They destroyed her place to get her to go do the job because he's like, no, you can't get out of this. Once you're a part of this group, you got to do whatever we tell you to do. We're paying you handsomely. You better do it or you die or whatever it is. Or Michael dies, whatever they say. This is where it feels more like this is another noirish element where you could see this happening in a film noir where like Casablanca or something like that. You got the girl who loves the hero or some other type. It doesn't have to be Casablanca, some other type of film. The girl loves the hero. She's into some shady stuff. The hero doesn't know about this. They're going to plan their life together. They plan their life, whatever. But then it comes out that she was working with this shadowy organization that if she didn't do what they wanted her to do, either she dies, her family dies, her man dies. And she has to go through with the plan to make sure people don't die, or whatever it is. You know what I mean? There's something about that you get from what you see on screen. I don't know this to be true. It's not explained in the film, but it makes sense to me that, she's had to do this work to make sure everything was cool. But the other thing is that she probably did enjoy the work too. There's a piece of it that feels like, because again, over the years, I never thought that she cared about Michael in this video. I feel like she only was sad when she knew she lost him. But other than that, she was enjoying the work. She was getting paid handsomely for it. What's there to complain about? But her place is in shambles when they go there to see what's going on. And that tells me, at least this time, is like, well, maybe she was trying to get out and they messed up her situation. The other thing is maybe she also probably had to psych herself up to get through the jobs, to play these different people. Again, we don't know her backstory. We can assume that she was picked up by the mother hen character. You can guess that maybe she, had a rough life, rough childhood, or whatever it is. Again, speculation, whatever. And she gets caught up in this world of intrigue and mystery and sex and money, and she falls in love with someone, and it gets tricky, it's complicated, and ultimately she's left without the man she loved. And she ultimately has to go back to work with the call girl people and junk. And the way this film ends, it puts a quiet sort of exclamation point on the emotions conveyed throughout. Like I said, I've mentioned before, it's a jam. You can jam to it and you feel the energy of it, the coolness of it. But you also get a sense of the pain that the speaker is in. Michael and his character, they're in pain. And the song reflects that, the video reflects that, and the way it ends, he's leaving. He has to leave. He's leaving his whole everything behind. His girl's gone. He's decided, I'm whatever. This is done. I'm out of here. He's leaving. He's on his plane, the jet plane. He's in his fetal position. He's just sort of, and then you see the faces again. The faces come up, and it's very sad. You just go, fudge, man. You feel it, and the section in the music, you feel like, dang, man, he's in some real pain. And it's juxtaposed with, at that moment, the homegirl comes back to the house to find Michael gone. And you feel, in that moment, you feel her pain too. Like they're both hurting. And they're both grappling with some major, some weight of what happened. And there's a section where she gets slapped by the mother hen. And you feel that slap. It's almost like the slap is a metaphor for her being slapped with the reality of, like, the jig is up. You don't have a safety net in the dude you loved anymore. That whole thing is gone, and now you got to go back and continue sleeping around, whatever it is. The thing about that is that it's not like she can reconnect with him in the way that's easy. You get the sense that Michael's character in this film, he's like, really rich, well off. He can literally disappear anywhere, and if he didn't want you to find him, you would never find him. We don't know where he ends up. We know he's alone somewhere, looking out over the ocean somewhere. You don't know where he is, and the homegirl can't find him. So that's just there. You get the sense that she's lost majorly, and that he's lost majorly because he loved this girl. And the other thing that was beautiful about the end of this film was, after the smack, she's back in their makeup chair, and the makeup people are getting ready to do their work to her. And someone there is wiping off eyeshadow. And the way they're doing it, it's almost like there's a lot of care being taken. It's almost like how a parent would do if your kid is crying, and you just gently go and wipe the tears, and you could feel like maybe that she might have been crying or something. Sorry, I'm getting emotional because it makes you feel all the feelings. But at that point in the project, everything has come to a head, and you feel all the emotions at the end. You feel throughout, but there's something about that. It's such a gentle motion, the action of, like, they're gently taking off her eyeshadow, and before they prepare her, presumably for the next job. But it's touching, and it's almost like it's comforting in a way to see, she's been through a whole bunch of stuff, and she's hurting, and you almost want to see her be sort of cradled in a way, and being cared for. After that smack was like the final thing. She lost her love, then she gets smacked, and then it's like, oh, poor dear. Let's go ahead and let's get you right. It's a hint at someone possibly caring about who the young lady is underneath all the stuff, all the characters and identities she's got to assume. And yeah, man, it's just you may not have seen that project like that before, the music video, whatever. You may not have seen it like that. Like, I've come across people, talk to people who don't really like that Michael Jackson video. It's the least Michael Jackson video that they've seen, or whatever it is. But I think it should be respected for, and that's fine. I mean, everybody, you're entitled to your opinion. But I think that this is it's definitely a masterpiece of visual storytelling, without everything being spoon-fed to you, and things are sort of, you can infer stuff. It's like a good poem, where you read it and you get sort of the initial thing from it, and then you read it again, and maybe something else comes to you, and you read it again, and maybe something else comes to you, and it's that kind of thing, that kind of experience. An amazing work of art. So if you haven't seen it again, look it up. Who is it? I think it's beautiful. Well done. Just all the way around. More Michael Jackson projects to talk about. There's so much stuff going on, so much to unpack with some of the some of the short films, and this is one that feels like it's short, but there's the expansiveness. It feels so expansive. There's a lot being conveyed with the feelings and stuff there, and the emotions and the what's on screen. You can unpack a whole bunch of stuff. I didn't even get to all the different things. This is just, I'm going to leave it here though. I think I'm done with it for now, but I think, yeah, check it out. If you haven't recently, it's pretty cool. So anyway, if you stuck around this long, this is a long video. This one was probably one of the longest ones. Thank you for your time. There's a whole bunch of other things you could be doing that's, probably way more interesting than sitting here listening to me gush over a music video. So if you've watched it all, thank you for doing that. I really appreciate it. I will be back. More stuff to talk about all the time. So in the meantime, I hope you guys have a good afternoon, and I'll see you later.